So last week I went to Macedonia, to Skopje, first time I've been there, and I went to interview Sam Vaknin. And I'm going to be releasing a series of in-depth videos, in-depth interviews that I did with Sam over 2 days. And we spoke. The interviews were like 4 hours a day, and then we hung out at dinner afterwards as well. And we spoke and spoke and spoke and spoke for hours. And as always, I found it very, very informative, very, very useful, and I learned a lot, as I always do. So some people would ask, why did you do that? Why did you go and interview Sam? And why are you releasing interviews with Sam on the channel? Because I'll tell you why. Sam is, without doubt, the smartest, most intelligent, most well-read, most knowledgeable human being I've ever met by a long way. And I was lucky. I had a pretty good education growing up. I went to private schools, and a lot of my teachers were, Oxford, Cambridge, and from, other good universities as well, other named universities as well. They were smart men, and that's who raised me. So we call it in England, we call that public school. It's a bit confusing. Public school is private school. Why do we do that? I don't know, because we're English. We do it. We just switch it on its head. So I've got that private school, public school education, and I'm no heavyweight intellectual, but what that taught me, I'm not even lightweight intellectual. You don't associate the word intellectual with me at all. But what that taught me was to respect intelligence and to respect knowledge. Was being raised by those guys, partly, and being educated by them. And they were an odd bunch. They were an eccentric bunch. They had character flaws and eccentricities and ways of doing things that were out of the norm. Many of them probably would be considered somewhere on the spectrum for autism. But their intelligence and what they could offer was never in doubt. So I've never had this weird, to me it's weird, split that some people have, where they would say, yeah, Sam's really intelligent, but you can't talk to him because he's got a personality disorder. Or you can't talk to him because he's got narcissistic personality disorder and he's diagnosed as a narcissist multiple times and been diagnosed as a psychopath as well. So, well, what's the one thing got to do with the other? So there's been this weird sort of misstep between me and not all, but the majority of the people who follow me on YouTube, where they would be like, why are you talking to him? And my answer to that is like, I'm always bewildered. I'm like, why the fuck wouldn't I talk to him? Because he's really clever and he has a lot to teach me. So that seems like two really good reasons to go and talk to him. I think that Sam is wasted personally in the online narcissism space. It's far too narrow a bandwidth for a man with that kind of intellectual capability and that breadth of knowledge. He was making me a cup of coffee before the interview, probably trying to poison me. He is a psychopath after all. And he just casually, we were talking about philosophy pre-interview. We just talk when we see each other. We just talk and talk and talk and talk. And he said, oh, did you know that I'm a professor of philosophy? And I went, no. So he just casually announces as he's making me a cup of Turkish coffee, do you know I'm a professor of philosophy? I was like, no, I didn't know that. So I wanted to interview him so that I could learn, because there are topics that have come to the surface recently in culture, modern culture, that are hard topics. And they're causing a lot of friction, and they're causing a lot of confusion and a lot of strife. And I think in our near future, we're going to see political turmoil at a global level, and we're going to see history repeating itself. And I think one of the reasons why we're going to see history repeating itself is because we've lost our place in history. We've forgotten our place in history, if we ever knew it at all. There's a lot that has been packaged and sold to us as being the history of how we got here today in 2018, and it's horseshit. It's total fucking nonsense. And I think if people actually knew the truth, they would think differently, feel differently, and act differently. So I want to do something to try and redress the balance, and this is the start of that. I want to see if we can, appreciate Sam outside of the contributions he's given to the field of cluster B personality disorders, because the guy is really, really very well read and has a very good understanding of history and philosophy and economics and politics and how those things interplay with each other. So I've already done it. Like, I've already sat with him over pints, over coffees, and got the information from him multiple times, but I really wanted to share it. And in the time that I had, I also selfishly wanted to ask the questions that have been bugging me for a while that I can't. I'm not stupid. I'm not a stupid person. There's no false humility here. Like, oh, I'm so dumb, I can't get it. No, no, no. I'm not stupid. But they're difficult topics to understand. Political ideologies, how economics affects politics, how the economic and political scenario that we find ourselves in today is impacting our psychology, our individual psychology, and our group psychology, our national psychology. These are important things that need to be discussed in a way that is simple and in a way that is understandable. I bring simple and understandable to the table, so I can ask the questions that people would be too shy to ask. You know, you'll have words spat out at you and you'll go, oh yes, and you'll just have to nod and agree because you're too shy to actually say, I don't know what these words mean. I'm not shy like that. I'll just go, Sam, I'm stupid. Can you tell me what that means? And he happily would. You'll see in these interviews, he's very, very, very good at taking incredibly complicated subjects and boiling them down into like a 2-minute synopsis and going, well, this is what it is. And then you can go, oh, right. Is that all it is? Oh, okay. Well, that's clear as anything. The other thing he does in these interviews is he brings a completely fresh perspective to these subjects. You've got people arguing political ideology, why we seem to be breaking down as a culture, why we seem to be breaking down as a society, our ideas around sexuality, our ideas around gender, our ideas around religion, all those things that we hold most dear, that are most intimate, seem to be, you know, having this mercurial sort of dissolution, or they're escaping us in some way, and we're seeing through it, and we're no longer drawing value from these things. It's why. I want to know why. Why is that happening? Sam has some answers. Some of them are going to be hard for people to hear. Some of them are going to be controversial. But I want to just lay out some rules. I am not having the same arguments over and over again about whether we should listen to Sam because he is a narcissist. I have zero fucking interest, okay? I've been in this game now since 2012, and there are some things that I am up to fucking here with, okay? That's one of them. It's boring. And you might think I'm this really nice, really, really compassionate guy and all that. You don't know me. When I've hit threshold and people are boring me, that's like, that's a boundary for me. I'm going, right, we're not discussing whether he's worth listening to. I'm not going to go round and round the houses on what color socks he's wearing today or what his favorite fucking flavor ice cream is. All that shit will get you blocked and the comments deleted. You can go and cry on whatever fucking Facebook group or narcissism forum you belong to. I don't care. I want you to go and cry. I want you to go and complain. Go and say Richard Grannon is a narcissist. Sam's fucking narcissism rubbed off on him. Say whatever you want. It's puerile and it's a waste of time. And you people who are doing that, you make the world a worse place. And we're all sick of you. We're all absolutely sick of people trying to derail intelligent conversations by dragging it back into absurd identity politics, by dragging it back into, we shouldn't listen to this guy because he drowns kittens or he fucking puts the milk in before the hot water when he makes a cup of tea. We're not playing that game. It's my channel. Some people seem to be confused about this. All my social media, my Facebook, my Instagram, my YouTube, they're mine. They're mine. I made them. I make them what they are. You people don't. You're visiting. You're welcome if you're going to be polite and you're going to contribute and you're going to ask questions. Sam will probably engage with you if you're polite with him. God knows he's every time I politely asked him a genuine question that's delivered with sincerity and comes from curiosity, he's more than happy to answer. Where you get hostility from him is where you come at him with limp, fuzzy, pointless, time-wasting, horseshit questions. Then you get hostility. And I have empathy for that because I'm getting sick of it as well. I don't think it's harmless. I don't think, and I've said this before on this channel, people's misuse and abuse of social media is harmless. In fact, I know that it is not, because my job on a daily basis is picking up the psychological detritus, the emotional detritus of people whose lives are ruined and are falling apart. And part of what is causing that stress and that anxiety and that depression is people's fuckery on social media. You have been warned. I'm not going to issue continual warnings. You will just see, I'll go through the comments once a day, people getting blocked and people getting deleted. This is my channel. Respect it or off, you jolly well fuck. That includes everything on Facebook, everything on YouTube, everything on Instagram. You can write a letter to your local police force, your counsellor, whatever makes you fucking feel better. If you don't like it, it's tough. These are the rules of the game. When I'm on YouTube, when you're on YouTube, when you're on Facebook, when you're on Instagram, these platforms give you, you're not the content owner. So I don't actually own the content here. Technically speaking, YouTube does, but they give me the agency to delete and block people. Why? Because that's the right thing to do. Behave yourself, contribute. If you see people trolling, please don't respond. The only thing that that is going to do is do your fucking head in. Don't respond. Do not feed the trolls. Let me deal with it. I won't be on every day all the time, but I'll regularly go through and I'll clean them up. I'm not switching the comment section off. I'm not going to be browbeaten. I'm not going to be bullied into switching the comment section off. I will just keep cleaning it and cleaning it. And ladies and gentlemen who feel like having a bit of fun, spill your electric ink, write your essays. For me to block and delete you is this. It's real quick. It's real easy. I ain't got a problem doing it. Now, if you've got an open mind and you can listen and you've got a brain, because some people are just triggered by the fact that they're a bit thick and they haven't got the IQ to understand what is being said. Hey, that's a different story. Triggered is triggered. Trolling is trolling. Not my problem. If you're open and you've got the intelligence and the will to listen, you're going to be blown away. You're going to be blown away by these interviews. I'm putting them out there for free because they have value and it needs to be heard. In my, I nearly went a bit scouse then, needs to be aired. Sam Vaknin's True Place, really, I'm sad that he's not up there. He's not a known name in the what they're calling the intellectual dark web. Your Jordan Petersons, your Ben Shapiro's, your Weinsteins, your even, you know, Joe Rogan. Like, he's like myself, not an intellectual heavyweight, but happy to be curious, keep an open mind, and to ask the questions. And that's where I'd like to see Sam. I think that's where he belongs. The guy is a genius. He's a tested genius. At a very, like, at the upper percentile of being a genius. So I hope you enjoy these interviews. Enjoy is the word. Some of it is frightening. Some of it is challenging. It took me 3 or 4 days to digest what was said in these interviews. It was not easy to digest everything that was said in these interviews. And it sort of turned my map of reality, not upside down, but it gave it a good skew. And it was a jolt, a heck of a jolt. If you can keep up and you can listen, you're going to learn a lot. And this is really, really, really good information. So I hope that you're open to partaking in that debate. Apart from people trolling because it's Sam, people trolling with their political stuff, not having it. I don't have it on Facebook. Anybody who knows me on the Facebook platform, I just delete it all. And I don't even care if, you know, what side of the argument you're on. It's a waste of time. Watching two people on social media argue from the left to the right, to me, is like watching two drunks fight with deck chairs. The deck chairs are not designed for battle. You're using two things that are not designed to be smashed into each other to try and fight with, to prove who has the biggest brain penis. Well, we're not doing any cock comparisons on here in the comment section. Thank you very much. You're here to respectfully and intelligently listen and to discuss what is being said, or you will be gulagged. Okay, ladies and gents, I'm about to release the first video. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy listening to it as much as I enjoyed shooting it and trying to keep up with Sam, which you'll see when the camera, okay, then he cuts away to my face. I'll be like, oh, what's he just said to me? I don't know what this means. I better ask an intelligent question. So you'll see, you get to enjoy my stress as well. Okay, guys, as ever, thank you very much for your time and for your attention. And I'm really, really, really looking forward to putting these videos out. I'm very, very grateful to Sam, for meeting up and taking the time to do this. We have in our midst a powerhouse intellectual, a powerhouse intelligence who I think is being wasted just talking about narcissistic abuse. Oh, and by the way, by the time we get to the fourth interview, when it comes to, because it does eventually get to narcissistic personality disorder and narcissistic abuse, yeah, there's some heavy revelations there as well. It's a lot of heavy revelations in this stuff, which there always is with Sam. That's it. That's a conversation with Sam. Okay, guys, thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing your comments and your reactions to this. Cheers.